as a reminder, with College Planning Untangled, what we're trying to do is just reduce the stress around college and the planning process and helping parents out, figure this out. Bobby, what's going on with you today?
Oh, I'm just glad to be here. I mean, I think, we created this show, back in November, I guess, and to say that the college planning process just seemed to be really stressful for parents, and just it'd be helpful to try to make it less complicated. And I think the college planning process just got a whole lot more complicated for everybody in America and everybody worldwide. So I think suddenly this show is needed more than it ever was. So I'm just happy to be here and to be able to talk to people and help any way we can, and yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I work from home as a tutor, so working from home isn't a big change for me, but I think everybody has new stresses and new changes in their lives suddenly right now that a lot of people have never encountered before. So
Right.
it's a new thing.
Yes. And I'll tell you, I really feel for these kids, not only high school seniors, but seniors in college that are getting ready to graduate. And they kind of got, the rug yanked out from underneath them, which is sad. And they won't have all those experiences, but hopefully we'll all get through this and we'll figure it out.
That I kind of want to say something real quick for just one moment, which is, I've been seeing so many people say, and it's true that, like, especially like the high school seniors right now, how sad it is that you may not have a prom, or you may not have a graduation ceremony, and there's so many sad things. A friend of mine has to cancel her wedding for next weekend, and so many horrible sad things are happening right now. And but particularly since this show is about college planning process and high school seniors, high school juniors, and how sad it is that these things are happening for them right now. But I want to say a thing real quick, which is, in 1918, when the Spanish flu came through America and these things happened, that experience led to the building of the greatest generation of people that America had. And so I think, don't look at this as a sad thing that's happening for these kids. Look at this as, these are going to be the strongest, the students who are graduating, who are seniors and juniors today. These are going to be the next greatest generation of people that America has. And think about what these students are going to be like when they are 25 years old. These are going to be the most serious, most amazing kids, adults that have ever come along.
And you're right. You're right. I think we do have to look at it as an opportunity. And especially in our households right now, when we're having college students come back and spend some time with extra time with us, which is interesting. Let me put it that way. But it's a great opportunity, right? To reconnect and, sit down and play a game of cards and be able to talk to each other or play a game. I think we've just got to take advantage of what's in front of us and roll with it. And one of the things that Bobby and I talked about, and I wanted to share with everybody, is next week we are going to have a parent coach come on. We're going to do an extra show. We're going to have a parent coach come on and just help parents with how to navigate through this so that we can just be calm and make it happen. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So instead of every 2 weeks, next week we'll do an extra show next Thursday where we're going to address that. And absolutely, like right now, we've got the time and everybody, we need to talk about these things. So yeah, and that's it. And so just getting a little serious there for a moment, but I think we need to, I think we're all going to learn the value of community and the value of family right now, and that's what we need to focus on. So that's it. But I'm really excited about the topic today, right? Which is community college. And this is really important for me because I have some of the students I work with will be attending community college. Some relatives of mine are planning to attend community college. So so tell me about what we're going to be doing today, Kristin.
Absolutely. So we've invited Jamila Freelain, and Jamila is the founder of Encouraging Words Academic Consulting. So she has this huge passion to do exactly what we're talking about, to help parents and kids navigate through this college planning process. And what I love about Jamila is not only does she help us with just the nuts and bolts, how do you plan for college? How do you go out and look at a college that makes sense for you? How do you deal with the SAT, ACT tests? All of that stuff. but she also wrote this book, and I'm going to show it and see if I can get it. And it's called Free Money for College. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, and what's really cool about that is Jamila helps families understand that this does cost a lot of money. I'm sure they do understand that, but how do we reduce that? And a lot of it's through planning. So she's going to be talking about that, as well as just community college as an option. And one of the things that I love about Jamila too is she's just uplifting, and you're going to love her. So I'm
Excellent.
going to bring her on, and she'll come up in just a second. Hey, Jamila.
Welcome.
There I am.
Welcome, Jamila.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So, Jamila, you have been working in the community college space for a while, on top of all these other awesome things you do. So we're really excited for you to tell us just, what's it all about, and what's the benefits of going to a community college? And I'll let you just go.
Okay. Well, the benefits of community college, in my opinion, are really there's a wide array of reasons, but I can really kind of narrow it down to really two. And the two best reasons, in my opinion, especially if there's, maybe some lack of direction or if cost is a factor, the cost is going to be probably, I would say, number one.
Oh
Hands
my gosh, yeah.
down, pound for pound, community college is going to be the way to go when it comes to cost. The other thing that I would say is in relation to the career preparation. Most community colleges and junior colleges as well are set up with the mindset that they want to put you in a position where you're going to have more workforce readiness. So the preparation and the planning that they provide for you is oftentimes going to be positioned such that you're able to get a bigger bang for your buck and able to hit the ground running once you actually complete that particular planning or training that is provided by the school. So those would be, I would say, my biggest two. There's several reasons, but I would say if I had to narrow them down and give people tips and steps, those would be my main two reasons: is cost and then the career readiness training that you would be afforded by going to a junior college or community college.
Can you tell us, what are the kids should consider this as far as families? And let's even put the financial piece aside just for a second, but on who should consider this? Who's a good candidate?
I think everyone is. I think a lot of times community colleges and junior colleges kind of get a bad rep, or they're, in the past at least, that obviously is changing, but there is a stigma sometimes placed with community colleges, like, oh, those are the kids who couldn't get in anywhere else.
Right.
And that's so not the issue anymore, particularly with the rising cost of college or the rising level of student debt as well. So I would say for someone who is trying to be more cost effective or has multiple siblings, this is a good option if you want to try to help out mom and dad and just kind of be cognizant of the fact that you have several other maybe sisters and brothers behind you. This can be a cost effective option. But taking aside, if we were to look at another candidate, would be maybe a person who's looking at going away to school, but maybe for whatever reason, they don't feel quite comfortable just yet flying away from the nest. Doesn't mean anything with that. Maybe they have a very close bond with their, their how should I say, their custodian or their parent.
Yeah.
Sometimes leaving and moving clear across the country or clear across the state may not be as suitable. So cost aside, that would be another prime candidate, in my opinion, that works well for a community college. A third fit would be, I would say, someone who is interested in going to a four-year college, but not quite sure maybe where they want to go just yet. So, for example, if they choose a community college and choose maybe a transfer program, and if they do their due diligence with the schools that they're looking at, the four-year schools that they're looking at, and make sure that they speak with their transfer center or their advisors at that junior college or community college that they're going to be going to, then my goodness, they put themselves way ahead of the game And I know we said we would put cost aside, but that can be a really big cost savings as well.
Sure.
I would say those would be three candidates that I could think of right off the top of my head. Adults would be another group.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, adults that are returning to school, life happens. You may have children, you may have a full-time job. So sometimes the traditional universities don't have as many daytime classes, that sort of thing. But the community colleges do. And oftentimes they also have diplomas and certificates. So if you don't have maybe the time and can't allow for that level of a commitment because of your lifestyle, then the certificates and the diploma training can be a good way for that adult to kind of hit the ground running and get some specialized.
Oh, absolutely, Jamila. And let me jump in on that for a moment.
Oh,
So,
sure.
there are a couple of things you said. One thing about, this past stigma that, other people have, like at my
Mhm.
age, yeah, like people used to think, oh, only, students who weren't successful or whatever
Yeah.
can't hack it in college or whatever. That isn't how it is anymore at
No.
all with community colleges. And I have a friend, and I've mentioned him before on this show, but who had gone and gone the route of going to medical school, got into one of the best medical schools in the country,
Wow.
decided he didn't want to be a doctor, was
Mhm.
right in the second or third year of medical school, dropped out,
Mhm.
became
Wow.
a tutor like me. He's one of my closest friends. He tutored for years for the MCAT. And then he
Mhm.
decided he wanted to be a video game designer.
Oh,
And so he
wow.
went to a community college,
Mhm.
just and said, I want to learn how to do video games. And so he got a, a degree at the community college in video game design. Based on that, he then went to a public university in Florida, or
Mhm.
went to a university in Florida and got a master's degree in video game design. But so he got that community college degree to check it out
Mhm.
and say, is this for me? He got the skills he needed that where he could have gotten a job in video game design right there. So he
Mhm.
learned that trade skill for the trade he wanted to do, got a degree, got
Mhm.
that associate's degree or whatever it was, then
Yes.
went off, got his master's degree in it. He is now working and designing video games at a very, very, very well exciting video game
Very
company. He is
expensive.
now they have released a game for Switch, like like for Nintendo Switch. He's doing that. He is now considering getting a PhD in video game design so he can be a
Wow.
doctor of video games, which I think is wonderful. But anyway, so that's one of the things, and that is an adult choosing a new
Mhm.
trade and doing it on his own with his own money where he can afford it. That's the route you're talking about. There's no stigma. This is one of the most
Yeah.
brilliant men that I know. There is no stigma. It is a way an adult can choose a new career. It is a way to learn a trade. It is all of those things. And I just wanted to say I support that. Now, the other thing, Jamila, is so what
Yeah.
is it exactly that you do to help students? Can you tell us about that?
Sure, I can. In terms of my role in working with encouraging words, the really the purpose of what I do is twofold. One is to help students and parents understand that there are definitely ways to reduce debt, especially if you
Ah, nice.
start sooner. So I I can't encourage people enough to realize that you can really start as early as elementary school, but I usually am a big proponent of starting with students in middle school. So even as early as seventh and eighth grade, and getting them to just begin thinking about, hey, what is it that you'd maybe like to do? What things really appeal to you? What are your favorite classes? Because all of those different things can translate into maybe a career path. And I know that's something, Kristen, that kind of goes into your realm as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I look at it, Jamila, and for these kids going off to college, what I see a lot of times is they haven't put that work into why am I going? And they don't
Exactly.
know their why. So they get there, they change majors, they are going just because it's the next thing that I'm supposed to do. And we're not having
Mhm.
conversations to say, what do you want to get out of it? What's the end result? And
So
it's,
true.
yes. And it's what's funny about it is when I'm working with my clients, I'll have parents on the side going, "Ooh, gosh, Kristen, really? They're 17, 18 years old. How are
Yeah.
they going to pick out a career path?" And it's not about I'm going to be a, you know, female doctor that handles people that have babies 2 weeks early and are early onset. It's not that specific.
Right.
It's let's get them into a career path. Give
A
them a
mindset.
direction. Yeah, and
Mhm.
let's weed out some of the stuff that we know they shouldn't do. One of the interesting stats that I've heard is the ACT organization actually says that only 30% of students actually get into a major that they were good at in high school.
Mhm. Yep.
That makes no sense. Because if you're good at something, more than
Yeah.
likely, you probably enjoy it, right?
Mhm.
And but
Yes.
I think that, yeah, I think they're trying to take this huge break and, not I just don't feel like they're getting the direction that they need. And
I would
we've talked
agree.
about yeah, we talk about this, love the high school counselors, absolutely think that they work hard,
Out of it.
but they don't have the time. They really don't. And the kids don't have the right questions to ask
There's
when they
too
go
many
in.
students per counselor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So the counselors are overloaded. And honestly, to be brutally honest, because I'm like you, and I'm in that same boat. I don't work as much with high school counselors now as I used to. But first of all, counselors, guidance counselors, and high school teachers, for that matter, are the salt of the earth. I think the biggest
Oh
thing
my gosh. Yeah.
that when it comes down to it, high school counselors, and for that matter, high school teachers, they do things out of the passion that they have for the youth. But a lot of times, with the exception of the last maybe 20 years or so, the curriculum they would have to get their advanced training and that sort of thing wasn't even necessarily really career oriented. So
Yeah. Right.
they were doing the best that they know how to do, but the curriculum, even for them to be able to become, a counselor after they've maybe been a teacher, or for them to even be a teacher, for them to be a teacher, they had to have advanced coursework in math or English or what have you. They didn't really have any training on guidance or career planning for students. They didn't. The closest thing I would say that would be akin to that is maybe those students who did family and consumer sciences, or the old school home ec classes. But even them, they didn't have a whole lot of direction in terms of their training on how to guide students best in selecting career paths, or
Hmm.
choosing what they wanted to do once they actually graduated from high school. So in fairness to them, that's just until recently not even been incorporated in the training of educators.
That's a shame. Yeah. It
Yeah,
really is.
absolutely. Well, and one more topic on that, and then I have another question for you. But
Mhm.
yeah, what I'm seeing a lot is right now, a lot of kids are coming out saying they want to be in kinesiology. And
Mhm.
just because it's kind of like the soup du jour right now, right? That we know that we've got
Mhm.
a lot of aging people. And it drives me crazy because I'm like, not
Mhm.
everybody is built or needs to be a kinesiologist, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
what do you love to do? And let's start there. And what are you good at in school? And then also, again, with my clients, we talk about their natural talents and what kind of job would be suited for them. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I love that we're having this discussion, but I do want to go back to the community college topic just because there's a burning question I have for you. And I don't know,
Okay.
one thing that I heard when I was back in the Flower Mound ISD, it's Louisville ISD, but that about 25% of the students in that area were attending community college. 25%, which is
Wow.
huge. Yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
student base. So take out the ones that aren't, the 30% that aren't going to go to college. So 25% of those students, we're going to, no, 25% of the whole are going to a community college, which I was excited about that
Mhm.
Mhm.
because,
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity and not everybody is suited for a 4-year college. Are you
Correct.
Yeah.
seeing that in the Charlotte area as well?
I do see an uptick in the percentage of students who are now coming straight out of high school, that are looking at the community colleges option. And I think that's because of a number of programs that are available. Um, in the community college that I work for, because of course I do that, that's my 9 to 5.
Right.
I do the consulting. Um, for the community college, what's taking place both here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area and even nationally are so many different initiatives and programs that allow students in high school to take maybe some college level classes while they're in high school. Some allow the students to be able to get degrees, pretty much degrees for free while their associate's degree for free while they're in high school. And then there's a lot more awareness now about student debt and that sort of thing. So what was once and still kind of is, a stigma to some extent, but a lesser degree. But now it's kind of the new sexiness. If you're, definitely wanting to be intentional, that's the new way to go. But I think there's been a great level of outreach across the nation to provide programs and greater accessibility to that traditional to those traditional high school students or graduates that wasn't out there, say, 20 or 30 years ago. It was more so just that was something that was in the community. It used to be, so that was kind of the default location. Now I think community colleges and junior colleges are being much more intentional and saying, "Hey, come check us out."
Hey, Jamila, you also told me something really cool about your job. And, well, how you're working with local employers and getting them excited about hiring the college students. Can you tell us more about that, the community college students that you work with?
Oh, yeah. So case in point, with my role at the community college that I work for, what I do is facilitate industry partnerships, which industry partner by our definition is any company or organization that's looking to join efforts with our campus. And the specific campus that I work for and the students that I work with are more what we would call related, which stands for career and technical education. So those areas that you get a degree or certificate in where you can pretty much go right to work. So areas like welding, construction, architectural technology, electrical, HVAC, those are the students that most of those industry partners are looking to attract. And with that being said, sometimes companies are in a position to give money and maybe donate equipment, that sort of thing. But some, like HVAC companies, for example, might be small mom and pop type of operation. So they're not in the position to give on the level that maybe a large manufacturer in the HVAC industry is able to give, that sort of thing. So we provide other opportunities. For example, if a student is allowed to maybe do a job shadowing with maybe the CEO or with one of the techs from that company, that's an opportunity. Maybe some of them are really good at motivating, so we can invite them in to be a guest speaker for some of our students. If there's maybe, let's say, for example, it's a construction example, maybe that construction company does a lot of large scale commercial buildings, that sort of thing. That could be a field trip site or location for some of our, students, that sort of thing. And then oftentimes, those companies are looking to connect with graduates as well. So in addition to working with industry partners, another aspect of what I do is trying to connect our alumni. Our particular alumni haven't always been reached out to or connected maybe in the way that a traditional major would have been connected. So for a lot of those companies that are reaching out to me, they say, wow, we're looking for somebody with this, and this background. And maybe a current student isn't the best option for them, but somebody field like 2 or 3 years, they might be perfect. So I do a weekly job posting for those particular alumni who've graduated with a certificate or degree within the last 3 years, and I try to connect them that way. So industry partnerships and alumni relations is what I do at our particular campus, and it works out pretty well.
That's really great. There's also, just wanted to kind of throw in right as we're getting near the end here, just as a tutor, I want to also mention to those who are watching this, just for completeness, we kind of mentioned it near the beginning, but, one of the things that major colleges are looking for is when they're looking for students, are they prepared for a full college experience? Did
Mm-hmm.
they get ready through high school? And there are many high school students who just simply aren't prepared for a full university
true.
experience or being away from home. And so one way that you can get the preparedness is to take college level classes.
Oh
So you can
yeah.
take joint high school, and so a lot of community
Mm-hmm.
colleges offer joint credit classes, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing you can do. You can take classes that are joint credit classes if those are offered. You can go over and do that while you're in high school. You can do that in summer school. So that's one way to get yourself ready. You can find out whether you should go to college by taking a class or two. And also, you can go spend a year at a community college and transfer. You can do all of those things. And I've
Yeah.
had many students and relatives who have done that and who have spent a year, and that got them prepared. And then they transferred their credits. You can do that too.
Right.
There are so many options, and I think, and just from my perspective, I just remember what I thought a junior college was when I graduated high school in 1989. What I
Mm-hmm.
thought a junior college was then, or a community college was then, is not what it is now. And I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing you
So true.
say, right?
So
Because
true.
it
That's
is
true.
they are, many of them are very high tech, that very, very extensively wide in what they offer. A lot of them offer a lot more options of careers that you can immediately do where you make a whole lot more money right out.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people coming out of community college with those degrees in welding and things like that are going to be making a whole lot more money their first few years
Yes.
out than a whole
Very
lot of
true.
those college students are, right?
And
Very
can we
true.
just say with COVID going on, I bet
And
those are the people that are working right now, right?
so I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah. Just I saw some people working on
yeah.
the electrical poles, the electric lines today, as a matter of fact.
And now, and let's say now one of those college students who comes out and maybe they did get a $120,000 a year job, one of those few who do, but they
Yes.
may have $100,000 or $500,000 or $300,000 worth of debt. Those
Right.
community college students are going to have none or very little because they could have just a reasonable job and pay their
Mhm.
way. You still can pay your way through a
Mhm.
community college, right? Uh,
Oh gosh, yes,
you know,
yes. Now there
and
are
you
some
can't.
community colleges. Yeah, no, no, you're absolutely right. To your point, there are some community colleges that do student loans, that sort of thing. But
Right? Sure. Oh yeah.
even comparatively speaking, those community colleges and junior colleges that do have an increased cost and still utilize student loans are far below the cost of most.
Right. They're not going to be $100,000 student loans, right?
Correct,
The
correct.
student loans are going to be manageable. They're going to be paying $50 a month or $20 a month, not these students who are coming out with $700 or $1,500 student
Yeah,
loan monthly bills, right? That which
very
Okay,
true,
I mean,
very true.
anyway. So
I'm
that's
going
it.
to jump in
Just want to
here.
throw that in
Yeah,
there. Yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
I'm going to jump in here because I'm the fact girl. So before I got on, I checked out the facts on this. About $3,700 on average is what a community college costs per year,
Mhm.
versus a public university. It's 22 grand. And as we know, some of your private schools, you're up into the 50, 60, $70,000 a year. So
Yeah.
yes, you can wait tables and work your way through community college.
Yep.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
you know, yeah.
It's
Yep.
just not a possibility with most four-year colleges. And then to your point about facts and Bobby's point as well, and I don't have I wish I had the link now to be able to reference, but the parents and students listening to this as well will find, and I've seen the research that typically those students who have done a year or two at a community college first are typically more prepared and have
100%.
completion rate. So that to me affirms yet another reason to consider it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Much higher graduation rates for students who spend a
Mhm.
year or whatever. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
100%. This has been really amazing. So now, I know that Kristen and I always say that we are always happy for people to contact us on our websites. You can see on the bottom of the screen our websites. So,
Mhm.
Jamila, how do you feel? Can people contact you? How can you help people? Can they contact you? Tell us about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I usually use three forms of contact. So of course, someone can reference me from my website and look at some of the tips and things that I provide for scholarship websites, that sort of thing. And the website is ewcollegeprep.net, EW, which stands for Encouraging Words. My phone number that students can reach me at, students or parents, is 704-293-5699, 704-293-5699. And then you can reach me on social media. So that third way to reach me is through social media, both LinkedIn. You can look me up by my name on LinkedIn, or if you look me up on Facebook, you can look me up under Encouraging Words.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, that's great. So I'm Bobby Hood. I'm a tutor for the SAT and ACT and GMAT and GRE and LSAT and MCAT. And you can find me at bobbyhoodonlinetutoring.com. And what about you, Kristin?
You can find me at kristinclark.com. And again, I work with students, helping them to figure out a career path after high school and helping them figure out that why. One other thing I did want to promote, Jamila and I are working on a project. We're actually going to do a half-day event in the Charlotte area.
Ooh.
It was originally planned for April, but with COVID, we are postponing that till the summer. But Jamila's going to be our keynote speaker there, and we're going to take College Planning Untangled. It's the event. So we're going to bring people in person to help them figure out the college planning process, and we are really excited about that.
That's wonderful. And what are our upcoming shows going to be again, Kristin?
Sure. So next week, this is the extra show, is going to be with Kim Mensch. She's with Real Life Parent Guide, and she's a parent coach, and she's going to come on and just talk to us when we have these kids with us in our homes that are out of college and even high school students. How to just connect with them and take advantage of this time versus making it stressful. Let's reduce the stress in the household. Let's enjoy what we have. And then the following week, I am going to take Bobby through his Clifton strengths and have online. We're not going to talk before that. So we're going to just do it just like I would.
I might have to change careers. That should be very interesting. Yeah, we'll see what career will be best for me. That's great. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Well, this has been so awesome. It's really wonderful. I mean, I think right now it's good to have any human contact. So I just really appreciate getting to do this. I had a little happy hour last night with some friends over video chat. So it's like, humans. So stay safe, everyone.
Oh, yes,
absolutely.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was wonderful to get to talk to you, Jamila. This was great.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.